Cozy today. We've got a smaller group, and I like that because it gives me less angst. And we'll be able to, maybe some of you can help us out a little bit when we get to the actual, help if you want, don't help if you don't want. But when we get to the actual demonstration part, we're going to be planting some of the medicinal herbs in the apothecary garden. So my name is Karen Koerner, and Deb Reile has been instrumental in putting together a lot of this program, and she and her husband and maybe some others actually put together the Keyhole garden that we'll see in a few minutes. So it's been a community effort, and she is out celebrating her husband's birthday today, so we'll excuse her. Okay, Keyhole gardening in the Texas Hill Country. And you'll find as we go through the presentation that keyhole gardens are good for our area because they make good use of water. That's one of their big benefits. So it is, the way we built ours, it's a raised bed, but I have seen other keyhole gardens that were pretty low to the ground. You could call them a lasagna garden if you want, because they do have layers of stuff that you build up the soil. And so it's all of that rolled into one. The design uses recycled items, so you can make the outside perimeter out of anything you want. I made mine out of cinder blocks, the new cinder blocks that don't have the bad stuff in them. And I've seen them done with rocks. I've seen them done with wood pounded into the ground. I've seen metal versions of it, anything that you have. And it's easy to maintain and weed because it is a raised bed. Basically, you have more control over what goes in. The design requires less water. That's good here. And it has an in-garden compost system, so you feed the garden through a central column. These gardens were developed by a humanitarian organization to work with communities that needed more food security. I learned about them through Dr. Deb Reile. She's up in Clifton, based up in Clifton, and she learned it in Africa when she was out there. So, and she thought this would be great for Texas because we're low on water. So they developed the Keyhole garden concept to help the communities construct a round garden bed using recycled natural materials that required less soil than a regular raised bed, because you'll see the soil level is not all dirt in there. It's a lot of other things first. It's called a keyhole garden because of the shape. It's got a little, it's round, but it's got a little pie slice in it that makes it easy to access that central column where you're going to put your food scraps, other compostable materials to feed the garden. That's where you can water it also. And there's an example. So you can see this one is made of smaller bricks. It's not what I would call truly a raised bed, not for my comfort. I don't want to get down that low. But it's got this little pie shape in it, and that center column, which in this case is sticks and woven, woven around. We used a metal, I don't know what you would call it, fencing, yeah, to construct that. There's another one, so you can see this is made of wood posts. I myself would be afraid to do that because how long is that going to last?
Yeah, unless you use cedar.
Well, yeah, there you go. There you go. And that may be cedar. And you'll see a lot of these have kind of a lid on top. That's to prevent critters from getting into the column, and it gives you more control over the rain, I guess. I don't think rain is ever a bad thing. Okay, we're gonna move this up. There we go. And here's another version that also is not very high, but it doesn't have to be. And it looks like they've covered their central column with some sort of cloth or hide or something. So here's the diagram. And you've got, is there a key here? You can see the column, the little keyhole here, and then the diameter of this shouldn't be wider than 6 feet, because you want to be able to reach in and work with your garden. So you don't want to say, I'm going to do even bigger, I'm going to make a 12-foot keyhole garden.
No.
You won't be able to work the center of it. So our particular keyhole out there included these steps. Deb and her husband, and maybe some other folks.
Mary Alice and me.
Mary Alice, yeah. And you? Oh, okay, so chime in, Denise,
Okay.
if you know something that I don't know, because I wasn't there.
It was relatively easy, especially with 4 people doing it. It didn't take us even an hour to build the structure that you're gonna see out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we used landscape concrete bricks to form the shape. Chicken wire, but it wasn't really chicken wire, it was some kind of fencing.
It's fencing.
Anyway, it's fencing.
But you can use chicken wire.
I used chicken
Something
wire.
that it
on
doesn't
that.
fall out of. So you can use fencing and then like wrap inside of it chicken wire so that the compost and other stuff that you're putting in there doesn't fall out.
And the soil doesn't fall
Probably
in.
some hardware cloth also.
Yeah, maybe that.
You
would
could,
be-
yeah.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt. But it's about 1 foot to 1.5 feet is about how big you want it for the size that we did.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna start, you fill it with a combination, garden soil, cardboard, newspaper, small logs and brush, leaves, hay.
And you can see it right there in that jar.
Yes,
We sort of, as we were doing it, we started with the cardboard on the bottom, then we put newspaper, and we wetted it down.
and
And
that's
then-
important to wet it down.
Yeah, to wet it down, kinda like how you talk about when you build a raised bed,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did those first 2 things, wet it all down, and then, Larry had brought like some small branches that he had cut off of shrubs and things, and then a bunch of different things we found around here, and he had that cool tool that I really fell in love with, which is a clipper thingy that hook up to a battery, and you just made them smaller, and so that little layer was probably that thick, right, by the time you get through doing that. And then he took, bags and bags of leaves that they must have raked out of their yard, is what I'm figuring. And so he had like 2 bags of leaves, so he spread that all around. And then I think we put the dirt in there. Then we put the garden soil. And then the hay is what goes, or maybe he put hay. No, then we put hay.
They put hay
And then we
inside.
put the garden soil.
Yeah.
And that's where we stopped, so that we could do the demo today, to show, here's,
Could
we're
I
gonna,
substitute coconut coir for hay?
You can substitute
Yeah.
just about anything.
anything.
And Dr. Tolman, when she talks about constructing these, she says, put in layers of kitchen scraps and lots of cardboard.
Like the trench method for organic gardening?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And in a way, it's similar in some ways to hugelkultur
Mm-hmm.
also, because you can load the bottom up with, sizable logs
Anything
and
organic.
sticks. Anything organic that's
It's
gonna
gonna break down.
decompose, yes.
Right.
And so the level of this is gonna sink over time, so we're gonna have to keep replenishing it. So, step 1, they made their circle to guide themselves. Come on, come on. Step 2, they started to place the landscape pavers around the circle. And, you did better than I did, you leveled your pavers, I just.
Larry was guiding us. Mary Alice and I were the mules, and Larry was the brains.
Yeah. And then you wanna put that center, that compost basket in pretty early so that it's in place as you continue to build and fill. And then there you can see the compost column is in place, and they started filling up with cardboard.
Amazon boxes.
Yeah, Amazon boxes, they come in handy.
And you could also, I have seen some folks line the outside of that with cardboard. Is that an advantage? I don't know, but I've seen that done. Then newspaper and logs.
And that's the one you wetted down?
You want to wet down pretty much every layer as you go,
Oh,
because you
okay.
want that decomposition and the composting to happen
Okay.
in the.
Can I
in the
just
garden.
use regular shredded paper if it's not colored?
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Cause I don't have newspaper anymore.
I don't
Yeah.
either.
Who does? It's sad.
Karen, do you receive newspaper in your recycle place?
We don't accept it. We can only, an aside, I work with recycling and we can only accept the things we have a market to sell. And that would be corrugated
Where are
cardboard.
you at?
I'll tell you after the,
Oh,
I'll tell you after the program.
I need-
Yes, it's in Lake Hills here. So then tree branches, limbs, anything you've got laying around the yard that is compostable that you don't want, laying around, leaves.
That's pretty good, so got one of them.
And then the hay.
And then a layer of hay, which is not there now because we're gonna actually add some more soil to mound it up. It should be mounded up so that the center level is higher than the perimeter of the garden. And that helps the water kind of go down, helps the nutrients from the composting column kind of go down. And it makes it easier to work with. But that is an important part in the water savings. Part of the water savings is that it's kind of contained and that you heavily mulch this. Oh, so I guess they did add hay. You added hay and then soil on top, but we will put hay on top again as the mulch.
There's actually, she has mulch to put on it. She has some mulch that'll go on the very top, composting mulch.
So,
Okay, so this is the compost that goes in the middle then, right?
yes, and we've got, hay, coffee grounds, lots of them, some kitchen scraps. Now, if you do want to, when you add kitchen scraps, depending on what kind of critters you have around, you may want to cover those kitchen scraps every time with something else. That'll make it more difficult for the, whatever might wanna climb in there to climb in there. So that might be more hay, more coconut coir, more, a little bit of soil if
Or
you
a
have
lid,
that around.
or a lid that will just fit right on it.
Eggshells,
Big rock, yeah.
Now, do you leave your eggshells whole like that, or do you crunch
Well,
them up?
I have heard that the best way to use eggshells in a garden, and correct me
Okay,
if you've heard something different, really is to bake them and to crush them up.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
And I've heard that.
Against salmonella, first off.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
That's why, or you can just nuke them in the microwave.
Yeah,
right?
I nuke mine for 1 minute on high.
Why are you nuking them, I'm curious?
It kills salmonella and other bacteria.
Oh, okay, because I've been using eggshells in my garden for years without any nuking.
Me
But
too.
then I've also used it on the top of it to keep slugs and things away because the eggshells offend them.
Hmm.
Right, so I
They don't
said-
like the sharp
Mhm.
edges.
Yeah.
And then we've got leaves and shredded paper that we're gonna be putting in the column out there.
Time out again, because
Yes.
if you're using it in a compost, the temperature of a compost should be well above 165,
Yeah.
which is
yeah.
the temperature at which salmonella dies.
So I was just gonna say, I feed mine back to my chickens
Ah,
because
yeah.
it's good calcium.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's why I nuke mine.
Well, that's understandable with
Yeah,
the
okay.
chickens, but like I said, and most
But you're-
of, if you have a compost starter, those tend to help the temperature raise again above 165. It's kinda like chicken on chicken.
Okay, yeah.
And, yeah, then, finish with a light layer of soil, so we'll put a little bit of soil on top of all of that.
I was just gonna say worms, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're, and especially if you know you're gonna be putting garden scraps in there, food for the things that the worms will eat, Deb does plan to get some worms and to introduce the worms into that column. And then they can, you know, worm around wherever they want to in the garden and come into the central column to eat, and then go find a cooler place or a warmer place.
And the
And I guess-
worms, also, if they travel into the soil, they help aerate the soil.
Mhm.
Yes, so they'll aerate the soil and they'll leave their castings, which are, we know, good fertilizer.
Good
And you
stuff.
can always go fishing.
Yes. If you wanna
If the
dig up
lake
your
fills up.
vegetables.
We can go fishing.
And, so for this, this garden, we're going to be planting some, medicinal type herbs. And we, have not yet been able to get our hands on mullein. It grows wild around here, but mostly in kind of rocky soil nearish to the river. That's where I've seen it.
Have you tried Ladybird Johnson?
No,
Okay, cause they
So
have
we
had
might-
that in past years.
okay, so we might try that. And I'm not sure it will really, we're gonna find some and we're gonna plant some. I'm not sure it's gonna thrive there because I think the soil might be too good.
Oh, well,
We'll see.
like, they're online, so I mean, you could always ask them to.
We've got
Love
yarrow,
Love yarrow.
lavender,
Yeah.
calendula, thyme, rosemary, sage, holy basil, which is not your typical basil, it's a different basil, and parsley. And then, when I went to Rainbow Gardens to find some of these, I got excited and bought some feverfew too, so we're gonna add that to the list.
Some what? Some what?
Feverfew, which doesn't, evidently, it doesn't really reduce your fever, but it can, resolve a headache.
Now we know what excites Karen.
Yes.
With Rainbow Gardens.
Rainbow Gardens, yeah. And I'll tell you what, go now, because they are loaded with stuff, it's exciting. Demonstration time. So,
Before we go out there, could I make an announcement?
yes, and after I got started, I realized I forgot all my initial announcements. So now's our break time, now's a good time.
So we have, all of these spaghetti squash plants, which they were, in Ashley Hudson's garden, and she dug them all up and donated them. And so if you would like to take a squash plant home with you, just for a small donation, take as many as you want.
Wow.
That's my announcement.
All right, thank you, Gwen. And some of our other announcements, include our next presentation, for the one for May, is gonna be May 16th, and I think you all have the flyers, the container garden, presented by a true professional container gardener. And so that'll be on Saturday, May 16th, here at 11 o'clock. And then, on the 18th, we have a special. Usually we meet on the third Saturday of every month. But May 18th, we've got a special kind of little field trip that one of our local gardeners, offered up to us. So that's gonna be an evening, it's a Monday evening. And, I've not been to her garden, but I understand it's wonderful place to
She's hosted a tour
be
before
and
too,
relax.
Barbara
yeah.
Engel.
Barbara
Susie,
Engel.
you've been there, right?
Uh-huh.
Can you kinda tell us?
I haven't been there since she's doing container. Her
Oh,
husband set up a really neat, remember the picture's real neat, and she's gonna talk about container farming. They have lots of parking, we're just gonna be casual, kinda chat, visit, and we get to know each other, and then she's gonna show what she does. She's very experienced in all kind of gardening.
So I hope that you all can make those events. And then in June, rather than having a regular program, we've got our fundraiser, which is a garden tour of 2 local gardens. And the flyers are available for that too. Tickets are $25. That includes 1 raffle ticket and the tour, and then refreshments when you come back to the library at the end of that event.
Boutique. You said
And-
boutique.
And there's gonna be a boutique, Emporium Boutique here, along with refreshment time, where we're gonna have donated items that, to purchase.
It's gonna be our major fundraiser.
Major fundraiser,
correct?
yeah. And the folks who came last year really, really enjoyed it. Last year was the first year we did that.
Shelley here is gonna be helping in the boutique.
All
Yeah,
right.
you're twisting my arm already.
It'll be
Good, good. And, so we've got tickets for sale for that too, today, if you wanna buy them today, or pick up a flyer, and if you wanna think about it or plan for it, do that later. Or if you wanna help us out by selling tickets, let us know. That's
Or
important
work in the
too.
boutique.
Okay, shall we move out to the garden?